who at least, not that I'm saying that I know they've been there, but I know talk about Air Force.
Been there but talk about it.
I don't know whether
Means
they,
it keeps
yeah,
restarting.
that it can be a conversation piece every now and then.
Wala siyang video.
And judging by our stand, I think that's the reason why we don't have Kembot girls in our rallies.
Yes, because
We don't have what?
demeans women. We should always respect our women here.
And we have three of the finest women senatorial candidates
Yeah,
who are
Teresa Ontiveros,
based on their gender
Yasmin Lau,
advocacy,
Sonia Rojo.
gender as well as development.
Can we have another generic question then?
Yes, from Sunny.
Yes, given the mismatch of this is concerning education, but I would want to hear the thoughts of others. Concerning the mismatch of the available courses in college and the job market, what would be your platform now to address this?
Well, I'll answer this because anyway, I didn't use up my 2 minutes in the introductory, and Martin used 4 minutes.
Anyway, that's his advocacy.
Yes,
also.
yes.
I'm a professor at the Asian Institute of Management, and I teach teachers. In fact, in the last couple of years, I'm sorry that this is already becoming also namamaos, but that's why this is the hot calamansi. But I've taught in a basic education management module, superintendents, supervisors, directors of the DepEd, as well as various principals all over the country. And what we really are saying is, we have to think out of the box. We have to manage our education system as well as our schools and our communities, including parents and the involvements of parents and communities in school activities, and really crafting a clear trajectory for our schools, especially in the provinces and especially for my native Mindanao. What we're looking at is our primarily, of course, three things. Martin uses the word, the status quo is unacceptable. 6,500 pesos per student per year in this country, which is at par with Zambia and Tanzania of sub-Saharan Africa, and the lowest comparable to, in terms of comparison anywhere in Asia, is unacceptable. 6,500 pesos per student per year compared to Japan's 120,000 pesos, 120,000 equivalent, 50,000 pesos for Malaysia, and 25,000 for Thailand. So we have to really look at that essential deficiency on just investing on each student. Second is alternative learning systems, because the dropout rate is the highest also in the region. For every 100 students that come into first grade, only half really reach sixth, and then onwards up to only 12 finish college, and even less because only about 2 actually are in the sciences or in what we call fields of innovation. But we have to look at that large 70+% dropout, and that's where we have to look at alternative learning. And then we have to do with vocational and other such programs with TESDA and private-public partnerships, but it has to really look at approaching it on a ladderized scheme. Meaning, hindi kailangan silang magtapos ng 4-year or 2-year or 3. Kung kaya lang yung first year, that certificate that gets them already with some competencies that can get them into a specific job already. And I just was with in Antique, and there is already a template for that, and that is also linked with the NSTP, the National Service Training Program. And then the third really has to do, to me, with teacher empowerment and teacher capability building. There's a lot to say about that, but that's closest to my heart. So I'll just end with that and focus on the 3. There are many more, but I think these are very key and can be done in the first 1,000 days of a presidency or in a senatorial term.
Unless we all agree that until we educate our children and until we give them the proper health care, we will never be able to produce competitive Filipinos in the 21st century. Now you have to understand, in 2009 we spent 170 billion on education, which is about 2% of the GDP. UNESCO recommends a 4% allocation for GDP on education. So we're woefully behind all our neighbors. And we also have to understand that study after study has shown that the most critical component of education is not infrastructure, textbook, but it's teachers. And we have a 27% passing rate for all our teachers in the licensure examination year after year. We have to be able to measure our educational program through participation, completion, and achievement. In all three measurements, we are always falling short. So we have to put more emphasis insofar as education is concerned, insofar as budgetary allocation, and in prolonging the length of our educational system is concerned. We have a 10-year system that is last in the world. All our other neighbors in ASEAN, all the other countries in Asia have at least 11 years or more of basic education, which covers grade 1 through high school. The Philippines is one of 3 countries which continues to have a 10-year educational cycle, which is unacceptable, because while you can cram only so much curriculum in 10 years, you need time for students to absorb all these lessons. If I had more time, I'd be able to talk to you about education.
Identify yourself again.
I'm TG Guingona. I'd like to address it from the viewpoint of my advocacy, the budget. You know that every year we allocate so much for education in the budget. It looks nice on paper. But for example, for the year 2008 or 2007 rather, do you know that we have a 30 billion so-called savings in the budget? When you say savings, it's not the same savings that you know as laymen. When you say savings in budget speak, that means that the amount was not released by the Department of Budget and Management to the Department of Education. They talk about no classrooms, they talk about lack of salaries, and yet the Department of Education in 2007 did not receive 30 billion, as in boy, 30 billion pesos. That is a huge amount that could have gone a long, long way. Professor Leonor Briones of the UP School of Public Administration had a very touching story about a barangay in Antique where they had the high school had Manila paper and a drawing of a computer with a keyboard, and that's where the children were practicing on the Manila paper. And yet we still have 30 billion in 2007 that was not released to the Department of Budget and to the Department of Education by the DBM, and it was used elsewhere. Where was it used? Your guess is as good as mine. The other is the policy of the present administration for the past 10 years of declaring Christmas bonuses subject to savings. And these people, it's not only in DepEd, it's also in the health sector, in almost all sectors. They know that when Christmas time comes, they will get a bonus if they have savings, because it's always, you have Christmas bonus subject to savings. So all throughout the year, the money that these people receive, the departments receive, they squirrel away X amounts just so that they can have a Christmas bonus. And what is the effect of that? That means less money for the programs for which it was originally intended. So 2 things. 1, savings, which means not released by the Department of Budget and Management to the department and used elsewhere by Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Your guess is as good as mine as to where it was used. Second, the policy of declaring Christmas bonuses subject to savings, and knowing that every